The night before our wedding, she begged me to drive her to the hospital. Not for her, but for her ex. He'd been in an accident. She was crying. And then she said the 7 words that cracked my world in two. Please, I still love him. She didn't realize I had already seen the messages. She didn't know I was done pretending. And by the time she walked down the aisle the next morning, the real ceremony had already begun. Just not the one she was expecting. Subscribe now if you love real stories with betrayal, revenge, and unexpected twists. New uploads every week. My name is Tyler. I'm 33. And this is the story of how my wedding turned into a revenge story so satisfying that even my therapist called it strategic closure. I met Ava when I was 28 at a mutual friend's 4th of July party. She was lighting sparklers barefoot in the grass, grinning like she didn't have a single regret in life. I was smitten. We started dating 2 weeks later. Within 6 months, she'd moved into my apartment in Denver. By year 3, we were engaged. Ava had that magnetic kind of charm. People noticed her when she walked into a room. I always felt like the quieter one, the guy holding her purse while she worked the crowd. But I didn't mind. I was happy. Or at least, I thought I was. There was only one thing that ever truly bothered me. Her ex, Nathan. Nathan was the once-in-a-lifetime kind of ex. They dated through high school and college. 7 years. She told me they grew apart, wanted different things. He wanted to stay in a small town and open a custom bike shop. She wanted city life, travel, ambition. I believed her. I mean, she never brought him up much. No photos, no nostalgic stories. It was like he didn't exist. Until one night, about 3 months before the wedding, we ran into one of her old college friends at a brewery. After a couple drinks, she brought up Nathan. And Ava? She froze. Not like, oh, awkward, my ex was mentioned. I mean, her smile vanished like a candle blown out. She asked a few too many questions, laughed too loudly when her friend mentioned he was still single. I remember her saying, he always said he'd marry someone who'd understand his silence. I felt something then. Not jealousy, recognition. A part of her hadn't moved on. Still, I didn't press. Because love makes you stupid. Because I wanted to believe we were solid. We weren't. The night before our wedding, Ava got a call. We were having dinner with my parents at the hotel. Casual, pre-rehearsal vibes. Toasts, laughter, champagne. And then her phone buzzed and she turned pale. "Excuse me," she whispered, already walking out with the phone pressed to her ear. 10 minutes passed. Then 20. I followed her outside, where she was standing alone in the courtyard, shoulders shaking, mascara already starting to run. She didn't see me. Not at first. I asked gently, "What's wrong?" She spun around like she'd been caught stealing. "It's Nathan," she whispered. "He's been in a motorcycle accident. A truck ran a red light." I blinked. "You still talk to him?" "No. I mean, it's his sister. She called Jen. Jen just told me. He's in surgery. They don't know if he'll make it." I hesitated. "Do you want me to drive you there?" She looked at me then, eyes raw, lips trembling. "Please," she said. "I need to be there. I still love him." She said it like it was obvious, like it didn't matter that we were getting married the next morning, like I was just the driver she'd summoned. I drove her. Of course I did. Not because I'm noble, because I needed to see it, needed to watch what she did next. We got to the hospital, and before I even parked the car, she'd unbuckled her seatbelt. She didn't wait, didn't look back, didn't ask if I was coming in. She ran straight through the doors like I wasn't even there. That was the moment something inside me stopped breaking and started planning. Back at the hotel, I sat in silence for over an hour. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I pulled out my laptop and opened a folder I'd created 6 weeks earlier, labeled just in case. Inside were screenshots, dozens of them. Text messages she'd sent to Nathan under a fake contact name, Tanya Yoga. Venmo transactions labeled bike parts and late-night Uber. A hotel receipt from 3 weeks ago in Boulder, room service for 2. I had hoped I'd never need them, but now I needed every single one. Then I did something petty, something perfect. I changed the photo slideshow scheduled to play during our wedding reception, the one she had curated with our love story and engagement pics, and replaced it with a new file titled Honest Moments. 10 minutes of footage and screenshots. No music, no context, just the truth, frame by frame. The morning of the wedding, Ava came back to the hotel. She slipped in just after 6 a.m. I heard her quietly trying to unlock the door to the bridal suite we were supposed to share that night. I was already gone. I'd moved my things out hours earlier, checked into another room under a different name. She wouldn't find me, not until it was too late. But I had left something behind. A note, placed carefully on the bed, folded in thirds. All it said was, "Don't worry, he can have you now." She called me 6 times that morning. Texts started coming in rapid fire. "Tyler, where are you? We have guests arriving in 2 hours. Please don't do this. We can talk." I was confused, okay? I panicked. "Please, I love you. I want to marry you." But I didn't answer. I was already at the venue, watching everything unfold from a quiet seat near the back. Waiting, there were nearly 120 people at the venue that day. Family, friends, co-workers, neighbors. Everything was decorated perfectly. White roses, navy accents, a hand-painted sign that read, "A love worth waiting for." And then came the moment. She walked down the aisle in a dress I'd helped her pick, hair curled, tears in her eyes. The music faded. The officiant smiled, but before he could say a word, I stepped forward from the crowd. The guests turned. Whispers rippled. Ava's face dropped. "I won't be marrying you today," I said calmly. The room froze. I took out a small remote and pointed it toward the screen above the altar, the one meant for our reception slideshow. Ava stammered something, but the first image had already appeared. A WhatsApp message. "I miss you. I think about you every night." Sent at 1:12 a.m. from her to Nathan. Next slide. A hotel bill. 2 guests. 1 room. Next slide. A photo. Her, mid-laugh, leaning on Nathan's shoulder. Time-stamped. Dated. The crowd was silent. Someone gasped. Someone else muttered, "Jesus Christ." I let it play. All 10 minutes. I didn't flinch. Didn't blink. And when it ended, I looked her dead in the eyes and said, "I was willing to give you the rest of my life. You couldn't give me honesty for a weekend." Then I walked out. People were still frozen in place as I passed them. The music had stopped. The only sound was my dress shoes hitting the floor. Behind me, I heard Ava calling my name. Once. Twice. And then her voice cracked, raw and humiliated. "Please, Tyler, wait." I didn't. Outside, the summer sun was blinding, but it was the first moment in weeks I could breathe. 15 minutes later, I was sitting in a quiet bar down the street, sipping black coffee, watching the phone light up like a Christmas tree. Avenue her mom. Her maid of honor. Even my own uncle. I turned the phone off. I'd said everything I needed to say. For days, she tried to reach me. First came the excuses. It didn't mean anything. It was a mistake. It was just emotional, not physical. I only said I loved him because I panicked. Then came the guilt trips. "You humiliated me in front of everyone. You ruined our wedding. We could have handled this privately." She really said that, as if I was the one who'd betrayed her. But here's the truth. She humiliated herself. All I did was hand her the mirror. A week later, her sister Jess called me. Jess had never really liked me. She once told Ava she thought I was too safe. This time, her voice was quiet. "You were right to walk," she said. I didn't know how far it had gone. But she wasn't just confused. She'd been planning to meet up with him after the honeymoon. I thanked her for telling me. Then I blocked the number. I filed for a full cancellation of the marriage license, citing fraud. She fought it at first. Then she stopped showing up to court. I learned she moved out of Denver 2 months later. Apparently, she went to Oregon. Apparently, Nathan didn't follow. Good. They deserved each other. Or rather, they deserved what they became after what they did. I stayed, rebuilt, used the viral video, yes, someone had filmed the screen reveal, as fuel. People reached out, strangers, reporters, even TEDx organizers. The video was being called the boldest wedding exit in modern history, so I turned it into a keynote speech. Know when to walk away. Lessons from the altar. It blew up. I turned my humiliation into opportunity. Wrote a book. Started coaching others in business and boundaries. Booked my calendar for a year straight. And somewhere along the way, I stopped thinking of her as the woman I almost married, and started seeing her as the catalyst that made me.